Hello, everyone. Men have few people advocating for them, whether in mainstream media or online. Worse, many of those are grifters or just utterly clueless. Matt Walsh is a bit of both. He is a popular Christian conservative commentator who discusses a variety of topics. When it comes to men's issues, however, Matt has no idea what he's talking about. I'll use a recent video he posted to justify why he shouldn't be a voice for the men's community. Matt discusses a story reported by the Daily Dot regarding a man who claims to have swiped right on over 2 million profiles on Tinder. Over 5 years, this resulted in exactly one date. Now, I question the validity of the story, but my concern is more with Matt's take on the story versus whether it actually happened or not. Let's start with his expert analysis of this man's profile.
There you can see his alleged Tinder stats, and then you can see some of the pictures on his profile. And even with his face obscured, you kind of get the gist. You see him out on the lake in pretty much every picture, multiple photos of him showing off the fish that he caught. We can also see that he works as an equipment operator at Don't Worry About It. And he notes that if you don't like fishing, he's not interested in you. And we also see him in a hoodie with a vulgar sexual reference. His interests, along with fishing and camping, include memes. So it is, in other words, and I don't say this to be mean, it is a dating profile specifically constructed to be as unappealing to women as possible. I mean, it is those scientists who worked in a lab to concoct the most perfect kind of woman repellent. And again, I don't say that to be rude to this guy. I have empathy for him, but I'm just being honest about it. I mean, this is one of the problems here. It's a really awful dating profile.
Really, Matt? This is the worst one you've ever seen? Obviously, Matt hasn't looked at dating profiles recently. He hasn't seen the ones where a woman doesn't even show a picture of themselves on their profile. He's also those where she writes about how much she hates dating and men in general and wonders, why the heck is she even on a dating app? He's also avoided the profiles that are just ads directing thirsty men to a woman's Instagram or their OF account. If Matt truly believes that this is the worst, he needs to shut his mouth entirely when it comes to dating. But why are we having a discussion on good versus bad dating profiles? The only thing that really counts is if the guy is hot. If not, it doesn't matter how much work he has put into his profile. Based on Matt's description of this guy being average, he doesn't meet that standard at all. However, despite being average, this man is clearly happy with his life. He spends plenty of time in the outdoors enjoying fishing, camping, and seemingly other activities. Would he like a woman to enjoy those activities with? The profile seems legitimate enough, so we can assume that to be the case. The difference is that he doesn't need a woman. While Matt has a point on the vulgar sweatshirt with the sexual innuendo and the interest in memes, those have little to do with why he's being rejected. Women see his fishing photos and they complain that they're boring, unoriginal, or not an activity that they're interested in. Yet, these same women will list reading, shopping, and movies as their unboring activities while also posting unoriginal selfies of themselves. Yet again, we can place another notch on the totem pole of double standards that apply to men, but not to women.
It is not oversimplifying to say that a woman, in order to find interested men, only needs to be not morbidly obese. If a woman can simply keep herself in decent shape, she is virtually guaranteed to garner interest on the dating market. I mean, it really is that simple. And the reason to point this disparity out isn't just to complain that it's unfair. The point is that the disparity feeds the problem. The easier it is for women on the dating market, the harder it gets for men. Because the problem has a compounding effect. It compounds exponentially. This is because men not only have lots of competition, but also a woman's standards are raised higher and higher, often to an unreasonable degree. a moderately attractive woman on a dating app might rule out all moderately attractive men. And then she might start adding other unreasonable demands. She gets pickier as the men get more desperate. Now a moderately attractive woman, or even a moderately unattractive one, might narrow her field to only men above 6 feet in height who earn an income, 3 or 4 times above the national average or whatever it is. The effect is that decent looking guys with decent jobs find themselves very often cut out. A man has to be exceptional to attract interest. A woman has to be just not fat.
Let me correct one thing Matt says. A woman can be fat and still garner attention from men on dating apps. This is because dating apps have forced men to date down, significantly down. For most men, if they want any attention from women whatsoever on dating apps, they must swipe right on anything and literally everything. This includes women who don't care about their appearance or their health. It includes single mothers with 2, 3, 4, even more kids than that. It also includes obvious bots and scammers. Of course, some of this is men's fault for being so thirsty that they will chase after anyone who has a warm place for them to park there or something. You get my drift. As with so many topics, however, the accountability that should be directed at women, well, it is mysteriously absent. It caught my attention when Matt said that men must show that they are exceptional to attract a woman. In the other video series I'm discussing on my channel, check out the links below, Scott Galloway, a popular men's grifter, mentions the same thing, except he uses the term excellence. I have no issue with men being excellent or exceptional. Hell, if anything, that is a positive and something to be praised. What I have is an issue with the expectation that men must demonstrate this excellence to women, but nobody calls for the same thing from women. What does she bring that qualifies her to be with this high-status man? And I'm not talking about her career accolades. Men don't give a crap about that. Is she attractive? Does she have an amazing personality? Does she bring something else? If you want to attract excellence, then you better be excellent yourself.
So, what can a young man do about all of this? Well, let's go back to Tinder Dude and use him as a case study. What can he do about all of this? Well, the first thing he could do about all this is accept that he can't do anything about any of it. The dynamics that I've just outlined cannot be changed or fixed by any one guy. It's extremely unfortunate that the dating scene works this way, but that is how it works. As a young single guy, you have only 2 choices. Flipping a magic switch and making it better is not one of them. So the choices are these. You can give up and resign yourself to being alone and lonely and sad forever, or you can try your best to succeed in spite of these enormous challenges. You can try, or you can not try. Those are the options. I mean, those are the options everywhere in life. Try or not try. And the thing that separates successful people from failures is that successful people, when given that choice, always try.
As I expected, Matt does not call out women for their unreasonable behaviors. Instead, he tells men that they must keep trying, even if everything is clearly stacked against them. What kind of bullshit advice is that? Furthermore, he says that if men don't keep trying in this rigged system, they are failures. Is that supposed to motivate men? No wonder they are feeling rejected and defeated. Even those who claim to support them are calling men losers for not trying harder. Let's just keep turning the screws on men, making dating more challenging, while they're just supposed to keep taking it up the ass like good little soldiers. Matt has his perfect life, with his wife and his 6 kids. So now he thinks he can sit on his throne and lecture everyone that if he can find his unicorn, everyone else can do it by following his lead. What an absolute perfect boomer mentality to have. While it is true that failure is a part of eventual success, It does not involve repeating the same failing processes over and over and over. If a man puts time and effort into a dating app and finds no success, how long should he keep beating that dead horse? He may change up his profile a few times or try different dating apps, but it won't take much for him to realize that he is not the issue. Sure, every man has things that they can change to make themselves better, and they should make those changes. But why put that effort into attracting a woman who, according to Matt, just has to be not fat? He continues to mirror Scott Galloway in that men must do all the work, while women, they can just sit back, relax, and reap the rewards. Fuck that. Men are tired of the lip service that's being provided to them by these, I would say, these simpy influencers about women.
You need to be in good shape, and you simply have no excuse not to be. Women these days may be too picky in certain ways, but you can't blame them for not wanting a doughy, flabby guy. That is biological hardwiring. Women are attracted to strength. The only way to reliably attract women if you're not in good shape is to either be rich or extremely funny.
I see. So a man has to bust his ass to work out and be in top physical shape to attract any woman. However, Matt keeps writing this not fat narrative when it comes to women. Fuck this double standard. He had a great opportunity in this video to call out women for their unreasonable standards. But no, he had to simp for them instead. Why would any man who is in good shape want a woman who is fat and lazy? The guy goes to the gym multiple days a week while she sits on her butt on the couch eating junk food. But that's what feminism tries to push. Also, while we're on the topic of biology, what about men's attraction to young, fertile women? If it's okay for women to only be attracted to strong, fit men, surely men can use biology to get their wants, right? Of course not, because only women are allowed to use biology in their favor. Again and again and again, double standards.
That means the real answer, or the best one, is to start to move away from these dating apps. I mean, even if you do meet a woman on Tinder, most of them aren't looking for a serious relationship. They're not open to marriage anyway, which makes the whole thing a waste of time. And that means your best bet is to go out into the wild, in the real physical world, and start talking to women. Talk to women at church, at school if you're still in college, at work, at the gym that you're supposed to be joining, at the dog park. I mean, anywhere. Now, sure, this increases your chances of an embarrassing rejection pretty significantly. And yes, in the post-Me Too world, trying to strike up a relationship with a woman at work could be fraught with peril if you're not careful about it. But I'm not saying you just charge in cold to a woman you've never spoken to before and ask her on a date. Just start by saying hi.
This is a perfect example of Matt jumping from the pot directly into the fire. On the topic of dating apps, he is 100% correct. Men have no reason whatsoever to be using them. But he provides a worse option in its place. It is absolutely insane for him to tell men that they should carefully approach women in the workplace that they have romantic interest with. Does Matt watch the news? Does he have any idea how dangerous that is for a man? There are stories after stories of men losing their jobs and sometimes their careers because a woman found a man's behavior creepy. Even if a guy isn't interested in romance, a woman can still report any behavior as inappropriate. Rather than romancing, a guy needs to stay far away from women, especially in the workplace, unless it is absolutely necessary. He also says that approaching women everywhere increases a man's chances significantly of an embarrassing rejection. What he fails to mention is that the embarrassing rejection will likely be recorded by somebody. Everyone has a phone, so it's basically impossible to avoid this. What man wants its failed romantic overtures broadcast for all the world to see? At best, it's going to be embarrassing, especially if seen by friends or family. It can also be used to terminate his employment or justify some type of legal action. As mentioned above, all she has to do is complain about his behavior and say she felt offended by it. Why can't he advocate for men to just work on improving themselves and leave dating as a secondary concern? Because Matt, like so many others, only cares about what men can do to benefit society, while making money off of them as well. Men's needs, those aren't really important at all. Certainly not to Matt, certainly not to Scott, certainly not to most of these grifting, simpy influencers. All right, what have we learned today, boys and girls, from Matt's video? The most important lesson is not to trust any influencer who doesn't hold both men and women accountable for their bad behavior. If they accept or apologize for women's inappropriate actions, avoid them like the plague. Similarly, avoid dating apps entirely. All they do is provide women validation while giving men absolutely nothing in return. Finally, never shit where you eat. I don't care how attracted you are to a woman. If you work with her, do not give her any unnecessary attention whatsoever. The juice is not worth the squeeze. Instead, focus on building yourself up, but not for women. If women become attracted to you because of that work that you're doing, great. You can choose to reciprocate that attraction, or you can just ignore them entirely. Either way, you take the power back to make that decision. If you like this type of content, please subscribe so you'll know when my next video is uploaded. Like and share the video with someone else who may enjoy this. Check out the other videos on my channel, and I will see you all in a future video. Take care.